Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with my May 2020 media pickup video. So this normally will cover all of my movies, video games, essentially any media that's not a book would be in one of these videos. But this month, most likely because of the shelves behind me, I went a little movie crazy. So I only have movies to show you, no video games or anything else for May, but I do have some other things to show you in June's wrap-up that I've already picked up, so we'll talk about those next month. I do want to mention, though, that along with these movies, I did actually purchase some items from the Vinegar Syndrome halfway to Black Friday sale. Unfortunately, those movies have not even shipped yet, let alone arrived at my doorstep, which admittedly kind of sucks, but at the same time, I knew that it would take a little bit longer. The website said it would take a few weeks before they even shipped. One, due to the pandemic, and two, just because of the overwhelming response that they normally have on their Black Friday or halfway to Black Friday sale. So I expected it, but it still kind of stinks. But either way, I have 17 movies to talk about today, so I got plenty to talk about. So without further ado, let's dive right in. First up is a movie that's not mine, but I bought it for my wife for Mother's Day. It was part of her Mother's Day gift. It is called I Still Believe, and this is the story of a Christian musician, Jeremy Camp. I'm trying to remember his name. She was a huge fan of Jeremy Camp. He's actually from, I believe he was from our area. Maybe I just made that up. I don't know, but whatever. She was a big fan of him when she was younger. Followed his story, and so she really wanted to see this, completely forgot the movie existed, and it came out like a week before Mother's Day, so I grabbed this for her. So this is I Still Believe, which is basically a biopic about the Christian rock star, or Christian music megastar, as it says on the back, Jeremy Camp. So, not mine, but I figured I'd show it anyway. I've tried to sort these in terms of where I bought them from, so the next four were actually $5 bin purchases from Walmart, so I was very lucky to find these. I actually had to go to a second Walmart out by my sister-in-law and brother-in-law's house, and they had all these movies. I went to mine, they had none, so I was very happy to find these. So first one I want to talk about is the Nicolas Cage starring Mandy, and this has an awesome slipcover. It doesn't shine, but it almost shines. It's just a really cool slipcover. I love it. So this is supposed to be a really fun one. It is a primal, psychedelic rage scream of a movie, according to Slash Film. So we'll see. Nicolas Cage is amazing, and it looks like, a 80s style film, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this one. So this is Mandy. Next up is a movie I've heard a lot about, and this is Hellfest. So I've heard this one is actually really good. I've not seen it, but another kind of throwback horror style film. So we'll see if I enjoy it. I probably will, because it's a throwback horror movie, which I tend to enjoy. So we'll see how Hellfest is. And then we have Truth or Dare, which is one I've really wanted to see because of the lead character here. I forget her real name. Lucy Hale. She's from Pretty Little Liars, which was a good show for like 3 seasons, and then it just turned to crap, and I hate the last couple seasons of it. But this is a horror film. This is going to be another like PG-13 horror film. But this one, of course, as you can see, is the unrated director's cut. I have no idea what's different, but we'll take a look. Frankly, I've never seen the theatrical version anyway, so it doesn't matter to me what's different, but we'll see how this one is. I should also note that there are so many movies with the name Truth or Dare. I remember we watched one for the podcast years and years ago now. And when I was researching that one, I found out, there's another one with the same title and same premise, but it's a different movie. And then there's this one that I know of. So there has to be others, but I know of at least 3 with this exact same title. So take that for what you will. Next up for my $5 haul from Walmart is Shin Godzilla. So this is another reboot of the Godzilla series. This was done by Funimation, I believe. And I've not seen this one, but I've heard really good things about it. It's probably, there's a quote back here that says, a reboot that is unquestionably Godzilla. So I'm sure that's a dig at the 2014 Godzilla, which is fine. I know people don't like that movie. I love that film. I loved it the first time I saw it in theaters. I've loved it every time I've watched it since, which I've seen it a handful of times on Blu-ray and Blu-ray 3D ever since, and I love that movie. I think it's great. So I'm hoping that this one is just as good, if not better. So we'll see. So Shin Godzilla. Next up is actually one that's going to go right over here in my Scream Factory collection. One I didn't own for a film that I adore. And this is Candyman. And this is a collector's edition. Unfortunately, as you can see, no slipcover. So that part kind of sucks, but that's okay. This movie was on sale for $10 on Amazon, and I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe that Candyman is one of the handful of collector's editions that are actually going out of print this year from Scream Factory. So I was very happy to find this one because I think in, a year or two, maybe more, this is going to be pretty expensive. So I'm happy that I own it now. I actually watched this one, I believe it was late last year or early this year. I can't remember. And it is such a great film. Like, the musical score for this is brilliant. The setting is wonderful. That early 90s Chicago in the ghetto. Oh, it is a fantastic film. If you've not seen Candyman, do yourself a favor, check it out. I believe it was streaming on either Hulu, Amazon Prime, or Netflix. I can't remember which one I watched it on, but I have all three of those, and I know I watched it on one of those. So check it out. It might still be there, but this was only $10, so you cannot pass up a $10 collector's edition from Scream Factory that you don't own. So tons of special features on here, including an unrated cut, which I didn't know existed. So I hear it only adds a couple minutes. I don't know if it's listed on here or not, but it doesn't add a ton of time to it. Yeah, it looks like just a couple seconds because the theatrical cut is 99 minutes and the unrated cut's 99 minutes. So actually, I do remember, I think it's only one scene that's extended a little bit. So I'm sure it just adds a little bit more gore, but whatever. Either way, this film is not to be missed. It is a wonderful horror film from the early 90s that is absolutely worth your time. I'm so glad now that it's in my collection forever. So Candyman Collector's Edition from Scream Factory, only $10 on Amazon. This was one I grabbed from Best Buy on their deal of the day. It is the Santa Claus collection, and this is the Steelbook edition. So this was only, I can't remember. It was between $8 and $10. I can't remember exactly, but it was cheap. And I obviously enjoy the first movie a lot. The second and third film are okay, kind of diminishing returns as the series goes on. My wife loves all three of them. I imagine my daughter will love all three of them once she gets old enough to understand what's going on. And for a Steelbook, I had to pick it up. So Santa Claus Trilogy Blu-ray Steelbook from, I think this is, a Best Buy exclusive. And it was like $8 or $10. I can't remember what, but a great deal either way. This next little stack is from Disc Replay. So we are starting to open stores here where I am in Michigan. And a couple weeks ago, they started doing, Disc Replay started doing appointment-only visits. So I literally had to text this phone number, ask for a time, and then wait for a reply, and then they say yes or no. And so I was able to set a time and go in. You were allowed a 15-minute slot. Fortunately, virtually no one was there other than like the two workers. And so I was able to stay in there for about a half an hour, just looking around and seeing what they have. Of course, masks are on when you're in the store. One thing I love about Disc Replay is right in the door, it says no masks, no service, which I totally am down with. I always am wearing a mask when I go out, and I would recommend you do the same, depending on where you are, of course. But here in Michigan, it's definitely needed. So anyway, these ones I got were, so if you buy 5, you always get one free on used media at Disc Replay. So these are 5, and then I have a 4K movie that I'm going to show in a second. So I got one of these free. So first up is a film that everybody hates, and I totally get that, but I love it. This is Warzone Punisher. This movie is just 10 times better than the John Travolta starring Punisher. It's ridiculous. Travolta doesn't play Punisher. I forget who does, but this one is fantastic. This has Ray Stevenson that plays Frank Castle, and it is so darn fun. This is just a true comic book movie, but it's very true to the Punisher, at least what I know of the Punisher. It's very dark, and there's still humor in it, but it's done really well. And there's this final image. It has never left my mind since the first time I saw this film. I love this movie. I think it is so underrated, especially as a comic book film. It's fantastic. So had to finally add this one to my collection. I didn't realize that I didn't own it until I started moving all my movies up here to the shelf. So since I realized that and I ran across this looking for, 6 things to pick up, I had to grab it. So Warzone Punisher, this was $5. My next $5 pickup from Disc Replay is actually a movie I don't like. And I actually have a plan to do something with this for the channel here in the future, which I won't spoil it right now, but just know I will talk about this again. This is Ready Player One. And as I mentioned, I did not like this movie at all. In fact, I strongly disliked this movie. On the other hand, the book, probably one of my favorite books I've ever read. I adore the source material for this. So I had such high hopes for the movie. Unfortunately, I hated it. So I want to, like I said, I have something coming planned for this, so I wanted to grab it. So $5, I figured I would add it to the collection so that I can use it for a future video. So Ready Player One from Disc Replay, $5. The next three I will show together, and these, again, these are all $5. One of these was free. One of these $5 ones was free, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So I love this series, and I've only owned them digitally, thanks to my previous job. I used to work at a video store, and we could, take the codes home and use them for ourselves. So I have them digitally, but I don't own them physically, and now that changes. This is the Purge movies. So they had The Purge, Anarchy, which is the second one, and then The Purge Election Year, which is the first one, or the third one, rather. So we have 1, 2, and 3. So the only one I'm missing is The Purge Anarchy. And so stay tuned for my June pickup. Maybe I found it, maybe I didn't. But I'm so happy to have this collection. $15 for the entire thing on Blu-ray. I'm sorry, 3 of the 4 on Blu-ray. And again, one of these was free, so maybe it's one of these. So maybe it was only $10. Whatever. Either way, very cheap. And so happy to own this. Want to grab that last one so I have the complete collection. And then I would really love to do a video on these, all 4 of them, because I really like this series. Love the first one. Not a huge fan of the second one. Absolutely adored the third one. Have not seen the first Purge, which is actually the 4th movie. So that was my initial thoughts when I've seen these. I only watched these once, but that was my initial feelings when I watched them. So in the future, I hope to do a video on all 4 and see if anything has changed. But so I do now own in the physical form the Purge series, at least 1 through 3 at this point. So this will go really perfectly on my wall right behind me. So excited to own these. So Purge 1, 2, and 3 for $5 each from Disc Replay. Okay, moving over from Blu-ray to 4K, and this was my last movie, so the 6th of my buy 5, get 1 free, and these are 4K releases now. So this first one is The Spy Who Dumped Me. This was only $7.99 on 4K, so I figured it was a cheap 4K to add to the collection. I love Mila Kunis. I love Kate McKinnon. This has Justin Theroux and Sam Heughan, which, frankly, I recognize him, but I don't know which one that is, and I don't know the other guy, so whatever. Heard good things about it. It's probably going to be funny. I think things are funny pretty easily, so I laugh a lot at a lot of things people think are stupid, so who knows. But this one came with the slipcover and everything, so gotta love that. $7.99 4K movie, yeah, I'm gonna grab it. So The Spy Who Dumped Me is my first 4K I want to talk about in this pickup video. Next up is another one I grabbed from Walmart early in the month, and this was one I went to Walmart trying to find something specific. My buddy was able to find the Omen collection, which was a Scream Factory release, collector's edition, or whatever that's not a collector's edition, but like a special edition, and it was only $10 on clearance. And so I was like, man, I need to go to my Walmart, because he lives in another state, so I need to go to mine and see if they have it also. They had it, but it was $40. So that was frustrating. So I was looking through, I was like, man, I made the trip up here. I need to get something. So I ended up picking up 3 from Hell, which is the sequel to the House of a Thousand Corpses and the Devil's Rejects film. This is the 3rd in that series, which are Rob Zombie movies that I adore. I love Rob Zombie's films, most of them, I should say, and this is the latest from him. So I haven't seen it yet. I love his movies. I need to check this one out. So 3 from Hell. And this also comes with, I think this has like a really long, 4-part documentary, The Making of 3 from Hell, which is a 4-part documentary, if you can see that right there. So another release of zombies that has a really, hopefully cool behind the scenes documentary with it. So I figured I'd grab it. This was only $15 on 4K brand new. So grab this one from Walmart. Next up was one I grabbed also from Best Buy, and it's another Best Buy exclusive steelbook, this time the 4K of Black Panther. So I initially thought that they had a whole collector's set of all the Marvel movies on 4K. They don't. And so that's when I realized, you just need to start buying the ones you want. So I don't see myself trying to have a full collection of the Marvel films, but at least to start, I say that right now, but who knows? Next month I'll show you, how I now own the entire collection of Marvel movies on 4K. But at least right now, I don't see myself needing to own all those, but I do want to start purchasing the ones I really like or the ones I haven't seen yet. And this falls into that category of one that I have not seen yet. So now I own this. It'll be easy to watch for one of my 2020 goals. So this is the Steelbook edition of Black Panther. This was only $10 at Best Buy from one of their deal of the days. I grabbed this one along with Santa Claus that day, so it was a good day for movie purchasing. All right, so the next two movies were ones I actually picked up in a trade from my buddy. He wanted these 3 old Sega Genesis games I had, or Sega Mega Drive, depending on where you're at in the country. And I wanted a couple of his 4K releases that he didn't want anymore. So first one I traded for was Bloodshot. So this stars Vin Diesel, and it is, I don't know if it's the start of a Valiant cinematic universe, a VCU, or if it's just a one-off. I have no idea. But either way, I'm hoping I'm going to enjoy this one. I've heard kind of mixed things about the film, but I've heard that the 4K picture looks stellar. So hopefully, if nothing else, even if I don't love the movie, I'm hoping that I'll like the picture quality. So we'll see how Bloodshot looks. And the other one he sent me was the 2019 Charlie's Angels. So this is another one that I'm really looking forward to watching. I enjoy the original movies of Charlie's Angels. I have never really watched the original series at all, but I like the movies with Cameron Diaz and them. I can't remember who else is in it. But this has Kristen Stewart, and it has Jasmine from Aladdin and one of the Power Rangers from the Power Rangers reboot film. So I am super, super excited to watch this one. My wife really wanted to see this, so hopefully this is one we'll watch soon because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So Charlie's Angels from 2019 and Bloodshot were 2 movies that I traded for this past month from my buddy. So that's going to wrap up the 4K movies I picked up. All right, so there it is, all 17 films that I grabbed in the month of May. It was a really good month for movie pickups, and I think it was just the fact that I've been going through all my movies recently, so it just got me in the movie mood again. So that's why I probably grabbed so many, which June, I already looking at my pile over there, it's already pretty close to this. So it's probably going to be another big month when we talk about this again next month, which I will also talk about my Vinegar Syndrome releases, which I better have by the end of June. I'm sure I will. Vinegar Syndrome's usually great, so we'll see when that package finally gets here. But let me know down in the comments below, what did you guys pick up last month in the world of media? Anything worth talking about? And what do you want to hear me talk about here on the channel? Anything from this pile here that's worth talking about? Please let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to have more of a conversation with you guys down there. As always, if you guys did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing to Cinefessions here on YouTube if you've not already. And if not, thank you anyway for watching. I really do appreciate it. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Dive in. Psh, swimming. Swimming away. Swimming. Swimming away.